What would you like to learn about suggesting, selling, and serving wine at tableside?
What are they referring to when they talk about body and texture?
How much wine do I pour in a glass?
What's a varietal?
So what's the difference between dry and crisp?
There are many things waiters would like to learn about or perfect in their service of wine. With just a little bit of practice, you can feel more comfortable suggesting and serving wine. This makes for happier customers and bigger tips for you. I've been a sommelier and served wine at fine restaurants for 20 years. You can increase your wine knowledge too. Come on along with me. Remember, relax. Wine is fun. To begin with, let's define some key wine words.
Palate. Does that mean taste buds?
No, your palate is your taste memory. It's your particular set of likes and dislikes in food and drink. Regular wine tasting develops your own wine palate. Amazingly, 80% of taste or flavor in a wine comes from what you smell in the wine rather than what you taste.
What's the difference between dry and crisp?
Dry wine is like coffee without sugar. Dry refers to the natural sugars in grapes that are transformed into alcohol during fermentation. A dry wine will not taste sweet, but it can still be fruity. Crisp refers to the natural acid levels in a wine. A crisp wine is refreshing and bright.
When people say they taste lemons and apples in the wine, what do they mean?
People sometimes think that they're tasting apple juice or lemon juice in wine. That's not true. What they're really tasting is a particular flavor profile that reminds them of a fruit. Chardonnays taste like apples, Merlot tastes like cherries, and Pinot Noir tastes like raspberries. When professionals taste other fruit in a wine, it's just a way to describe the flavors.
I'd like to know more about what oaky and toasty mean.
The aromas and flavors of oak, spice, and toast come from aging the wine in oak barrels that have been toasted over an open fire. Barrel aging gives the wine a whole new set of flavors.
What do they mean by body in a wine?
You could say the body is like the texture of the wine. Is it heavy and oily, or is it light and kind of crisp? The body of a wine is how the wine feels in your mouth.
How can a wine be balanced?
Balance is how the flavors and body match up and harmonize. You don't want one element of the wine overpowering the others. A truly balanced wine is what every winemaker strives for.
With wine, what does finish mean?
Think of the last long note of your favorite song. The finish is the lingering taste in your mouth after you've swallowed. The mark of a truly great wine is one that leaves a long, pleasing flavor in your mouth.
What do they mean by aroma or aromatic? Is that the way the wine smells?
Aromas are the smells that come from grapes and the winemaking process. Each varietal has its own distinctive set of aromas. For example, Sauvignon Blanc has melon, citrus, and herbal aromas. Yep, that's Sauvignon Blanc.
Bouquet. What exactly is bouquet?
As the wine ages in the bottle, the fresh young aromas transform into secondary aromas called bouquet. For example, the young fruit flavors in a Chardonnay can become caramel or butterscotchy over time. It takes practice to distinguish aromas from bouquet.
What are tannins in wine?
Similar to strong black tea, tannins give a dry, astringent feeling to your mouth. Tannins come from the skins of red grapes and add body to red wine.
Color. What's that got to do with wine?
The wine's color will vary according to the varietal. Colors will vary from pale yellow to gold to amber to pink to red and almost black. Color does not determine the quality of the wine. Now let's talk about some of the varietals that are on most wine lists. We can't cover all of them, but let's start out with the lighter style varietals and move on to the heavier, richer style varietals.
Sauvignon Blanc.
A light to medium-bodied aromatic white wine with melon, lemon, and grapefruit flavors. Ranges from crisp and dry to fruity.
Riesling.
A light, aromatic white wine with peach and lemon fruit flavors can be dry to fruity to sweet.
Gewürztraminer.
A medium-bodied, aromatic, spicy white wine. You can often taste nectarine fruit and cinnamon spice. Can be dry or fruity or sweet.
Chardonnay.
The most popular white wine, a medium to full-bodied white with apple and pear fruit flavors, can be rich and full or light and crisp.
Pinot Noir.
A medium-bodied aromatic red wine, refreshing cherry, blueberry fruit with a rich, sensual character. Dry.
Sangiovese.
An Italian grape made into a medium-bodied red wine. Concentrated, dried, black cherry and earthy flavors make this wine exotic and tangy, similar to Chianti. Dry.
Zinfandel.
This medium to full-bodied red wine is very versatile. Zins can have blackberry and blueberry fruits with an earthy character. Dry to fruity.
Merlot.
A full-bodied red wine with plum, cherry, and chocolate flavors. Merlot is softer than Cabernet Sauvignon. Dry.
Syrah.
A wonderful, full-bodied dark red wine with blackberry fruits and pepper. Dry.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
The most well-known red, black cherry and tobacco flavors make this an intensely full-bodied wine. Dry.
I was training this fella how to open the wine, and I knew he wasn't ready.
Here's something. You go to the table with two open bottles of wine.
And you screw the corkscrew in.
One bottle of wine flies through the air, lands back on the table.
When you pull, the whole bottle came apart.
There's not one drop on anybody.
I know none of these things have ever happened to you or will, but just to be sure, here are a few of my personal tips for wine service. Always be friendly and gracious when talking about wine with your customer.
Excuse me.
Of course. They may know a lot, they may not know much at all. It doesn't matter. Be personable, smile, take good care of them. First of all, determine who the host is. Ask if they'd like to start with a bottle or a glass of wine. Then, demystify the wine list. Explain how it's organized. Thank you. Ask a few simple questions. Let's see how it works. Carefully carry the wine back to the table, holding it upright by the neck or base of the bottle. From the host's right side, present the bottle, facing the label so the host can clearly read it. At the same time, read it back to them.
This is a Kendall Jackson 2004 Vineyard Reserve Chardonnay from California.
If the host agrees, step back from the table with bottle and corkscrew in hand. Remember, the better the corkscrew, the easier the opening. If the bottle has a foil or plastic capsule, cut below the wide flange on the bottle neck. Start the screw just slightly off the center. Turn the screw clockwise at a 90-degree angle. When there is only one whirl showing, put the boot on the side of the bottle, hold it down, and pull the cork out all the way. Pull gently so there isn't a large pop sound. The other cork remover I'd recommend is the Ah-So, which is a good backup. Close the corkscrew and put it in your hand or pocket. From the host's right side, with your napkin ready, pour a small amount into the host's wine glass. Wipe the bottle clean of any drips and place it to the host's right on the table with the label facing the host. As the host tastes the wine, unscrew the cork and place it in front of the bottle. Then wait for the host to give you the nod of approval on the wine. Pour clockwise around the table from the customer's right side. Some restaurants pour ladies first, others pour in order. Fill the glass to the halfway point, showing the label each time you pour. Twist the bottle slightly with each pour and wipe the neck of the bottle to prevent drips. Continue around the table and finish with the host. Place the bottle to the host's right. Ask if you can remove the cork. Some people collect them. As the meal progresses, keep the glasses filled to the halfway point. When the bottle is empty, pleasantly inform the host. With a large group, inform the host when it's a quarter full. Don't forget, if the party is large, ask if the host would like to start with 2 bottles. Otherwise, that first bottle has to serve everyone.
What if it's a bad bottle? What if they don't like it?
Make sure the management policy is clear on what to do with an unsatisfactory bottle of wine. Most of the time you'll be told, go back, help the customer choose a fresh bottle of wine.
What if the cork breaks in the bottle?
It happens. Take the bottle away, put it on a steady, secure surface. An Ah-So can be very handy in a situation like that.
What do I do if I spill a few drops of wine on someone?
Apologize. Know the management's policy. They'll often take care of dry cleaning.
What do I recommend when some people are ordering fish and some are ordering beef?
Recommend something that is a medium weight wine that will not overpower the lightest entree, but not get lost on the richest entree. Chardonnay or Pinot Noir are often good choices.
How do I match food and wine?
Consider if the dish is simply prepared and the main ingredient is the focus, or if sauce and spices are enhancing it.
For example, if fish is prepared with a simple butter sauce, then match the wine to the fish. Say a Sauvignon Blanc. But if the fish is smothered in a spicy Cajun sauce and the fish itself is just texture, then match the Cajun sauce with a spicy Zinfandel. Oftentimes, you're matching the sauce or spices, not the main ingredient.
Customer asked me to recommend a good bottle of wine, but since I've not tried all on the list, how am I supposed to know?
If you're not sure about your own wine palate, you do know what the most popular wines on your list are, and you've heard the comments of satisfied customers. Learn from your own experience.
What about opening champagne? Kind of scares me.
Champagne isn't that difficult to open. Just take your time, relax, and practice.
First, carefully remove the foil that covers the cork. While holding down the top of the cork with a thumb or a napkin, carefully untwist the cage. Remove it. Put your whole hand with napkin over the cork. Twist the bottle until the cork gently is released with a soft pop. Pour slowly and carefully in each glass.
Remember, additional wine knowledge leads to happy customers and increased tips for you. Don't be intimidated by wine and wine service. Taste and retaste the wines on your list. Think about flavors, have fun with it, but most of all, give great service.